So you've done some work with squaring. You've been squaring and transforming squares of 10 into parts with two different squares. You've maybe done some work with squares larger than 10, creating what's called a binomial. Next, we're going to move on to a trinomial. Now, when you hear the word, or the prefix tri, what does that tell you? What other words have tri in it? Triangle. That's exactly what I was thinking. And how many sides does a triangle have? A triangle has 3 sides. How many angles does a triangle have? It has 3 angles. That is correct. So when we're talking about squaring a trinomial, we're using something, well, we're not taking a triangle and splitting it into pieces, but rather we are taking a square still, squaring a trinomial, and we're working with 3 numbers. Working with 3 numbers. Add a nice little border around my title here. And first things first, I'm going to draw myself a square. And I can pick any size number I want. So let's pick, I'm going to do 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Oops. Let's verify. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay. Always want to double check, because if you don't end up drawing a square, this work doesn't work. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Let's verify. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Great. All right, now let's finish drawing our square. Always making sure to use a ruler or straight edge to draw your square, otherwise it's messy. And you won't actually have a square, you'd have some sort of random other shape. 4-sided, but wouldn't be straight lines. Okay, so now that I have my square, it's a 12 by 12 square. I'm going to split it into parts. So this time, instead of splitting into using 2 rubber bands, imaginary rubber bands, or drawing 2 lines, I'm going to draw more than 2 lines. So I'm going to count over 1, 2, oops, and draw a line. I'm going to count down 1, 2, draw a line. So here's what I mean by having a binomial. Bi meaning 2. 1 square, 2 square. We're going to make this a trinomial, so we're going to have 3 squares. So I'm going to draw 2 more lines. So maybe I'll draw this line here, 3 over. And again, 1, 2, 3 from that line. Beautiful. And now I have a square that's divided into many pieces. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And I have how many squares? 1, 2, 3. And they're all along this diagonal. So let's label what we have here. So here I have 4 squares, but I don't refer to it as just the number. I look at its dimensions, and I know that it's 2 by 2, and I can call that 2 squared. Here I have 3 times 2. And here I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times 2. Next I have 2 times 3. Oh, 2 times 3, 3 times 2, those have the same value. Then I have a 3 by 3, which I can call 3 squared. And then I have here a 7 by 3. Here I have 2 taken 7 times, 3 taken 7 times, and 7 by 7, which I would call 7 squared. Now we get to color it in. I'll color in my 7 square orange. You can pick whichever colors you would like. However, key thing to remember is all pieces that have the same value should be the same color. So I'm not going to use 9 different colors here. No, no, no. I'm going to pick out my purple. I've got my 3 by 7 right here. And what do I know is equal to 3 by 7? Well, because of the commutative law, I know that 3 times 7 is the same as 7 times 3. So I'm going to color that in. My purple. All right. Okay. Let's get another color. I've got a 2 by 7, which I'm going to color green. And I know any other pieces that are the same would be the same color. And I know 2 times 7 is equal to 7 times 2 because of that commutative law. All right, now let's pick another color. We've got, let's do red. 3 squared. I don't have any other 3 squares here, do I? Nope. And then I've got a 2 by 3, which I'm going to color that pink. And last but certainly not least, I have my 2 squared. Well, at least in this trinomial, the least of value, but you know what I mean, last but not least. I'll do yellow. So now I'm going to take all the pieces of my trinomial and write them out. So I've got 2 squared plus 3 times 2, put that in parentheses, plus 2 times 3, plus 3 squared, plus 7 times 2, plus 2 times 7, plus 3 times 7, plus 7 times 3, plus 7 squared. Now, let's make sure we have all of our pieces accounted for. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And I have 9 pieces here. Another strategy you could use is, as you write them, check them off. So 2 squared, check. 3 times 2, check. Now, you might notice that this is really big and long. Another way that you could write this, kind of a shortcut, is if something appears more than once, like we know 3 times 2 and 2 times 3, those are the same. They appear twice, or it appears twice. You can rewrite it like this: 2 squared plus, now there's 2 of these, so you'd write 2 and then the parentheses, 3 times 2. So that counts for both of these, because there's 2 times 3 times 2. Plus 3 squared plus 7 times 2, 2 times 7. I could turn that into 2 parentheses 7 times 2, because we know those have the same value. Plus 3 times 7, 7 times 3, same value. So I could write that as 2 parentheses 3 times 7 plus 7 squared. Now, that might be much easier to work with. And then you can solve from there. So 2 squared equals 4. 3 times 2 is 6, times 2 is 12. So 12. I took a shortcut there. I shouldn't do that. So I'll leave it 2 parentheses 3 times 2, which is 6, plus 3 squared is 9, plus 2 parentheses 7 times 2 is 14, plus 2 parentheses 3 times 7 is 21, plus 7 squared, which is 49. So it's possible, if you're strong and confident in your mental math, you could have just multiplied 3 times 2 is 6 times 2 is 12 and written 12. But I'm going to break it down into more steps for the majority of students. So then we have, we'll keep writing, 4 plus 2 times 6, which is 12, plus 9, plus 2 times 14, which is 28, plus 2 times 21, which is 42, plus 49. And then we can add it up. Now again, you could write it all vertically, but use the horizontal shortcut. Add up your units. 4 plus 2 is 6, plus 9 is 15, plus 8 is 23, plus 2 is 25, plus 9 is 34. So I'll write the 4, carry the 3 in my head. That's to the tens. No numbers in the tens place here. 3 plus 1 is 4, plus 2 is 6, plus 4 is 10, plus 4 is 14. So the answer I got here is 144. Now what I can do to double check my work that I squared this correctly and that I wrote all this correctly, did my math right, is just multiply 12 times 12. And we know 12 times 12, 2 times 2 is 4, 1 times 2 is 2, 2 times 1 is 2, 1 times 1 is 1. Oh, it checks. Now, if you didn't want to multiply, you could count, but I don't think that's the best use of your time. Anyways, this is squaring a trinomial on graph paper.